I'm just worried that my breathing is going to be a loud portion of the sound. Because I'm a mouth breather right now.
And we are now live. Excellent. Which means I can copy. Go to show discussion.
Oh, did you put it in the Discord?
I'm about to.
You want me to? Okay.
I'm going to beat you.
That's fine. I'll let you beat me.
I'm winning.
Dude, that's fine. I also made very bad life choices last night because I started to 3D printing way too late, and the filament was going to run out at like 3 a.m., but we didn't know exactly when it was going to run out, but we could tell it was going to be in the middle of the night. And so I just stayed up until it needed to be changed, which was about 3 a.m. And then I went to bed, and then I took the kids to school, and then I came home, ate some breakfast, and then crashed until noon because I was like, I need to sleep because I've got this loveliness. So
in the middle of the night, I was printing in my sleep.
No, I only have 2 more pieces left for my custom Mando. I was printing the knees that time, and I did a shoulder today, and then I have a chest in the back piece, and then I'll be all done printing my Mando. And I just have to.
Well, listening to you guys is making me realize my sickness was timed well because I was at the very beginning of it last episode.
Oh, man. I think for once I gave it to my kid instead of him giving it to me, which was...
Lies. He's found a way. He just snuck it past you.
No, it was funny because he was like, oh, man, I got it too. And Josh was like, well, it's about time because it's usually you giving it to us.
I think you did it wrong because if Josh said it, it was like, well, it's about time.
Sorry, I can't do deep.
I mean, right now you might be able to.
It's about time.
Okay, well, okay. I said it was Josh, not the devil.
It's about time. I don't know. It's hard. I can't modulate my voice very well. I guess his voice is kind of deep. I just don't think about it because...
No, you just hear it every day.
Yeah.
And then I hear it and I'm just like, man, why do I have this high-pitched squeal? It'd be a lot more fun if I had a deep voice. Instead, I'm up in the Neil Patrick Harris range.
That's okay. He's a good actor.
And a good singer. That
I don't have.
So, you can hear Bill really well? Because I can't hear him too well when he did speak.
That's because I'm talking more quietly than normal. Let me see if I can crank my volume a little.
Probably smart.
Yeah, because I want to not mishear you. So, oh my goodness, I can tell my nose is building to have to blow it in probably 5 minutes, which would be great. Ugh. I already took a decongestant.
I may need to drop off speaking from time to time tonight. So
I'll do what I can.
I will.
I'll try and make up for episode 3.
Make up for your quiet one.
Have the show notes up just in case it happens in the middle of that, so you can.
Right, show notes.
Oh yeah, show notes.
Oh, I need to put it in the.
Oh man.
Let's see.
That explains why that's not working.
I'm also having trouble even remembering what happened in this section.
I had Josh give me some pointers from what he remembered because I'm like, I can't remember how this part worked or this part worked. And he's like, oh, and he talked me through it because he just recently finished. Mm-hmm. So, because I had kept intending on rereading it, but it did not happen.
Is the secret word today going to deal with the fact that you both are sick?
The what?
It says the secret word.
I wasn't planning on that.
I didn't know we had a secret word.
The one that's always hidden.
About the
start.
Oh, that secret word, yeah.
No, it's not an exciting one today. I'm not feeling particularly creative at the moment.
Come here, Bill and Amy's sickness. Oh man, that's terrible.
I'm going for the pity vote.
In the show notes or in the show discussion channel, he said that. My goodness knows.
All right. Let's see. I've got that there. Let me see if I can summon a Kamiite.
Oh, people. Hello, hello, hello. Go low, 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 low. Cheek. Cheek, cheek, cheek.
I said check, check, check. He said chunk, chunk, chunk.
And I said me.
Oh, wait. I forgot. There we go. Shooby-doo, shooby-doo, shooby-doo. Oh, excellent. Hey, Kamiite, how's it going?
Good. Good to know.
How do the rest of us sound?
Sick. Hopefully he can just hear you, though.
We do feel sick.
Yes.
Just need to make sure people can hear both.
How was my day? It was interesting. I slept until noon after staying up till 3. So that was very different.
And she did a backflip, stopped the bad guy's neck, and saved the day.
Thank you, Ryan George.
Slightly low, he says.
That's because I'm speaking quietly.
Oh, Baggins. Oh no, it sounds like I'm super low too. I don't. Is that better? Getting right here, or is that too loud?
It's not too loud to me.
Okay, well, I don't know. Let's see what Kamiite says. Is this too loud?
These cough drops are weird. They have liquid in the center.
Oh, I love those. It feels like a reward.
It's like those chocolate sucker, the suckers with the chocolate in the middle, but
Tootsie Pops.
How many licks does it take to get to the center roll of the Tootsie Pop?
A lot.
3.
I don't know if I've seen any studies on this.
My brother actually did do a study.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm. It was a project he did in college.
Dang it! We got to get a hold of the primary sources.
Although I disagree with his method, because for him a lick was putting the entire thing in your mouth and pulling it out.
I can see why you would do that for repeatability issues, but
it's still,
yeah,
it's not a lick.
No, it's not a lick. It's probably the most reliable scientific way to do it, but yeah. Hi, Dysgraphic. How you doing?
Hello.
You know what? I am changing the word.
Oh.
Yeah.
Creativity has sparked. It's going to be Tootsie Pop, isn't it?
No. Tootsie Pop cultural.
Oh, goodness.
All right. Well, I am ready if you guys are.
So since Bill can't talk much, are you going to read the stuff or am I going to read the stuff?
I'll do it.
You'll still do it? Okay. I just knew you said your voice is kind of...
I just may break into a fit of coughing and I need somebody to jump in.
Okay.
But I think I can get it.
Where did I put the notes?
I just wanted to...
Okay, there are the notes.
Okay, so y'all ready?
I am ready.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to start the recording. And of course, I need to cough. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies, where there's always another secret.
Welcome back, Sixers, to another episode of the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies. This is episode 183. Today is March 10th, 2025, otherwise known as Mario Day. I'm Bill, and I am joined, as always, by my respiratory co-hosts, Amy and Jordan. Welcome.
Oh, and on cue. Excellent work.
Right on cue.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get started, we do want to remind our listeners that the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies is not a spoiler-free podcast. That means that if there is something in the Cosmere you haven't read and you're worried about hearing spoilers, you might want to go read those first, then come back and join the discussion. Tonight, we are going even deeper into our deep dive into Wind and Truth, taking a closer look at each of the major storylines. Tonight's focus will be on Shallan, Renari, Rlain, and the surrounding crew. For those of you who listen to the podcast recordings or watch videos on YouTube, we'd like to remind you that it's possible for listeners to interact with us live via chat as we record each episode at www.youtube.com/Cosmere Studies. We record it every other Monday night, starting at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, so please join us, take an active part in the discussion. And I need to give a caveat. We've only got one episode left in that bi-weekly format, so or semi-week, every other week.
Didn't we look it up last time and found out both words were used?
I think that's right.
That's like the whole two-way mirror versus one-way mirror thing. You look it up and you find out both, and you're just like, they can't be both. That's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's English. It happens.
Same with namesake. Like the namesake is the person who is named after them, and also the person they're named after.
Yeah, yeah.
But so for those of you who are curious, Amy and I are both sick tonight. different kinds of sickness probably because I haven't seen Amy since Dragonsteel Nexus.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He definitely picked up what I had.
Yeah.
I
don't know where I
tried.
got mine.
And
I was wiping down surfaces with alcoholic wipes and stuff, and I still failed.
Not every time.
Well, it's hard to do it over the course of a week.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I do. But yeah, so other than that, how are y'all doing?
Pretty good. I got a whole bunch of my house painted, which was nice because there were big sections, like we have vaulted ceilings upstairs, and we have these big white walls, and there was no way I was going to want to paint those because they're like 15, 20 feet, whatever, up, and I'm like, nah. So there was somebody on our local Facebook page who's looking for work, so we hired him and his crew, and they did a great job and painted all of the white for me, and now I just have blank walls that I have to put stuff back up on, and it's intimidating. So.
No, I get that. Well, other than being sick, I've actually had a pretty good weekend because my favorite game of all time just got a remaster, and so now I'm able to have it on my PC. I've been playing it. I actually beat it today.
Oh, that's fun. What's the remind me?
No, I didn't beat the game. My favorite game because it's they've remastered the first and second game in the Suikoden series together, and I beat the first game. The second game is my favorite. So now I get to start playing my favorite.
Oh, very cool.
And it actually is important to play the first one first because you can load save data from the first game into the second one. So
I did not know that.
That way.
That would have to be one of the first ones to do that.
It was an early one. It was on the PS1.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of PC games actually had done that before.
That's true.
I don't know. I don't know where Mass Effect lines up in comparison, but I know it had that you could keep some of your data.
Right. That's definitely much later than any of the ones I'm talking about.
Okay, so I didn't know.
But yeah. How about y'all?
Cool.
Anything else exciting?
It's getting warmer, so the outdoors is calling to me, and I'm busy.
I've decided I'm going to try and go for the Completionist ++ achievement in Balatro, which is going to take forever.
You have a problem.
I love this game. So there's Completionist, which is get gold, or there's Completionist Plus, which is get gold with all the various decks. Then there's Completionist ++, which is get gold with all the jokers. And some of them are literally useless because their purpose is to be sold. But you have to have them to beat gold, so they just take up a slot. It's true. I do have a problem.
Okay, well, the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies is made possible by the support of our listeners and patrons. Remember, y'all have seriously been awesome. You've made it so that we can keep doing this, and we really appreciate it. Y'all, I've been saying it the past couple of weeks, but seriously, y'all are amazing. You're what makes it worth doing this and for the past 7 years. So, all right, well, let's move on into our announcements. Again, happy Mario Day. Do you know why it's Mario Day?
It's March 10th.
Yep, MAR10, Mario.
Did you put mushrooms underneath your Mario tree?
No.
Oh. Was I not supposed to do that?
Am I going to have to fumigate the basement now?
Oh, man.
Anyway.
Speaking of, we do actually need to do that, don't we? Anyway. Not fumigate, but spray.
Right. We are about to hit our 7-year mark, as we've said, at which point we're going to be stepping away from our regular every other week schedule. I mentioned that earlier, but now I'm officially announcing for this week because it's worth noting. We're not going away entirely. We will be back occasionally for like book releases, or if one of us has an idea for an episode that we're just super excited about, we'll see. But yeah, we're going to finish out the main storyline for Wind and Truth. So tonight we have Shallan and co. And then next episode, we'll have Adolin and co. And so we've only got the one more episode after this before the change. So definitely be here live next time if you can make it. We'd love to have you there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if there's no other announcements that y'all can think of, let's move on into the Cosmere Thing of the Week. Jordan, you got this one?
I do, but I just realized where I put the thing saying who this is that did it is now underneath where I'm showing the image, so someone will have to give me the name. But this was posted on the Cosmere subreddit. Someone's niece who apparently the niece is the one that introduced them to the Cosmere, made a crocheted pattern and Shallan, and given today's subject matter, I thought that appropriate.
The person who posted it is comfortable
trip 1399.
Perfect. It's all right, like I said, on the Cosmere subreddit. It's adorable, and it looks like it would take so much time.
Mm-hmm.
I love the little detail of Shallan having a crocheted satchel under her left arm.
Oh, I think it's a book. I think it's just got a book.
Maybe it's because I used the satchel image for the thumbnail. That's why I think it's a satchel. Maybe it's the Book of Endless Pages. Odd reference, but a correct one in this circumstance.
I wasn't just throwing a name at Jordan. I was referencing How I Met Your Mother. So
he's making up insults. He's gone insane with power.
We've lost him.
But yeah.
Anyway, so it's really good.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Is amigurumi?
Amigurumi.
So these little crocheted figure things.
Oh, they have a name. I didn't realize they had a name.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Japanese word. I don't remember what it means, but yeah.
It means these little crocheted figures.
Yeah.
But no, it's really cute. You should go check it out. Mm-hmm. If you aren't seeing this and you're listening to it. But yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, no, very, very cool. It's always fun seeing what people just make and create, just like, because you see a lot of fan art, but it comes in so many different forms.
Yeah, so apparently it means crocheted or knitted and then stuffed doll. So it's literally
these little knitted stuffed
dolls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Okay, so moving on into Sanderson news then. This is fortunately a short one because Brandon has been on a retreat with his officers, the Dragonsteel officers. So he didn't record one last week. But before he went, Ghostbloods pre-writing was at 85%, which he said by the time he gets back, which is right now, he'll probably be at 100%. So the pre-writing for that should be done. He's aiming to have the first draft of book by July or August. Unfortunately, we're still not going to get it forever because he's finishing all 3 books first. So
maybe we're getting
this book made me more excited for it. So
I know. He posted a writing lecture on character a couple weeks ago, and he also did a shout out to Kevin J. Anderson because he's doing a Kickstarter for one of his books. Kevin J. Anderson is an author. He's written in the Star Wars expanded universe, I guess called Legends now. He's actually the first Legends book that I read because I read his Jedi Academy trilogy.
Oh, okay.
He's also apparently involved with the band Rush.
What?
Which kind of surprised me. Yeah. They like work on concept albums and stuff together.
That's cool.
What an odd and interesting tidbit.
Right? But apparently he's got a Kickstarter that launches tomorrow if you're listening live, so March 11th. So check that out. I think it's for a book that he's doing, but I can't remember. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, and that's it. It's like I said, it was a short one this time. So, well, let's move on to our main discussion. And I need to rest my voice a little bit, so if one of y'all can kind of start us off.
Sure. I'll let you two tag out for a second. So we're talking about Shallan.
I may, just as a heads up, I may drop out entirely and very suddenly from time to time because the cough that comes with this thing is just nasty.
Yeah, it is. But so we're talking about Shallan and crew. So that mostly means we're Shallan, Renari, and Rlain. Like we did last time, we got to remember the fact that there was a book that happened before, with all the preview chapters, and they infiltrated the Ghostbloods base.
Yep.
Also, there was a very awkward intimacy scene.
Oh, the shower scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
which it turned out was, it's like, this is just so that Brandon could lay the foundation for the end of the book.
See, and my thought is they've been married for a while now. I assume that's what's happening anyway. So.
Yeah. And it's, as far as romance scenes goes, that was still tame.
Oh, it's very tame.
It's just it's not what I've used to in Brandon's work.
It's far less fade to black than other ones have been.
It's about as thirsty as Brandon has written.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no, I forgot about the infiltration where Shallan is kind of putting all her skills that she's learned from because it was I didn't think about it at the time, but she's kind of putting together all her skills from her various parts of her life she's lived. Because she's putting together all the infiltration stuff that she's learned as a light weaver, but some of her skills she learned as a Ghostblood.
And stuff from Tin even before that. And then,
and all her radiant skills.
Yeah, it's basically Veil is kind of shining from within.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the fact that she's learned, because that was a big thing for her. She's like, no, we're now working as a team. Which this technically, in this case, this makes this maybe the first special forces mission of Roshar.
There you go.
Because everything the Windrunners do is they don't tend to do things with a lot of stealth.
No,
they tend to go for more shock and awe.
Mm-hmm. Fall from the sky and craziness.
Claiming the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Quite boldly, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
no, that was I'd forgotten how much fun those scenes were, and seeing how well she even was able to trick Eotil for a minute, which that's pretty good. And especially because it's sitting going, oh no, I have to pretend to speak this other language. I have to guess what she said. Oh no.
The way that whole thing happened with Shallan's there and Sja-Anat's there, and she's sort of giving her this look like, please don't give me away.
Yeah.
Come on, Sja-Anat, be cool.
And Sja-Anat kind of shows that she is truly chaotic. She's not aligned really with anyone other than herself.
Yeah. Sja-Anat is her own team.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is fair. There's a lot of scary stuff going on in Roshar.
On everywhere. But no, it was, I don't know. I liked that because it then brought in, as soon as she sees the anti-Stormlight dagger, it suddenly brings a concept of combat that we've never seen in the Cosmere before, which is a true kryptonite factor.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's I have the thing that will end you. And if I get this in you at all, it's going to be a bad time.
Well, but even still, Shallan is able to think her way around it and get stabbed by it, but still doesn't go boom because she makes sure to not suck in Stormlight.
She waits it out because
she's got
to let it seep out of her first, and then.
Yep. So she figures it out how to brain her way past it. Yeah.
Because she still needs to survive the stab wound, and it's just it's a very touch and go situation.
Well, and that's part of she hasn't lived an easy life. She's actually been prepared for this moment. Whereas as we see later, when Eotil gets stabbed, her instincts take over. And it's well, why? Eotil lived a hard life. She did. Eotil also is new to these powers.
Yep. She is not as experienced with it. And so it's still an instinctual thing versus, I'm sure it's instinctual on a lot of levels for Shallan, but she's able to think about it a lot more about how to, and she's been thinking about how to deal with it compared to, I don't think Eotil's had to sit there and think about it. She's more thought about, okay, we have this tool. I'm going to use it on other people versus how do I defend against it?
Yeah. Well, we've actually seen her practice not sucking in Stormlight all the way back in Words of Radiance, where she realized if I suck in too much Stormlight, I won't be properly drunk for drinking this Horneater White. And so she had to train herself to not instinctively do that.
Pace herself, yeah.
Which that's not a natural training, but it's one of those things you look at. It's like, this is very well foreshadowed.
Yeah, and it was hinted at, and it paid off. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and there's lots of references to her doing training with Adolin. So a lot of these different fight scenes and different things that she's able to do, it feels earned. It's not just like, well, she's a Mary Sue and she can just do all the things. It's no, she has drilled, she has practiced, she has a husband who's very, very good at these things, and he has trained her on how to do it.
And the things that she hasn't trained on, she fails at.
Yeah, so she's not just like perfect at everything. She's still not perfect. She has failures, like Bill said. Yeah, so it's
because that's the hard part.
Well, and honestly, the failures are often what makes a story interesting. You know, a lot of writers, they'll talk about the try-fail cycle, and it's just like without the fail, the story gets very boring.
Yeah, because it's just like, well, I did the thing, yay! I did the other thing, yay! I did. There's no real progression on things.
I mean, like I'm going through and rewatching Batman the Animated Series again, and you know, Batman has become memed. You know, it's like because Batman, that's why he succeeds. But in Batman the Animated Series, which is phenomenal storytelling, he fails a lot. Like a lot of the time, he's just making it by the skin of his teeth. Mm-hmm. And often he'll need like Robin to pull him out of the fire or something too. It's just a good setup to have a character who is competent, but not godlike.
Perfect. Yeah. Because if they're just Superman, and even Superman, you have to give him different challenges because otherwise he's not going to lose a fist fight.
Well, it's even one of,
yeah.
It's even one of Brandon's laws. I can't remember. I think it's the second one. What you can't do is more interesting than what you can do.
Yeah. I think it might be the second one.
Yeah, and I think he tends to use Superman as his example.
Mm.
Uh-huh. And I mean, you can do interesting stories with Superman, but they have to be very different because of who he is.
Well, most of his it's not necessarily what he can't do, but what he won't do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is, yeah.
But no, I just remember the infiltration and the fact that she's cool with Ja and not, and is able to get her to not tattle.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, please. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
No, the other thing I remember, like, because it's so weird, because just seeing Shallan actually working with people and now working with her armor as well.
Mm-hmm.
Shallan.
Yep.
Shallan.
It's interesting. On some level, her and Adolin kind of use the reverse of each other's trick, because at the beginning of the book, Shallan has her armor go on to her enemy to lock her up. And then at the end of the book, Adolin is able to pull his armor off his enemy. Those two should be a couple.
I know.
You know, you may be onto something.
I think I am. No. But then everything goes to hell in a handbasket as soon as it's like, okay, they're clearly up to something. What are they up to? And they have to try and figure that out, and they don't figure it out quite quickly enough.
I mean, all things considered, they still that's pretty good.
Yeah, they do. No, they do a great job, but not quite quick enough.
And then it moves on to where she's trying to, keep Dalinar and Navani safe and all that, and that backfires. And like, I always forget that Mraize is Thalen, because it doesn't talk about him having the eyebrows, and that's how I always think of it, is the eyebrows.
That's why he does it.
Like yeah. And actually, my husband Josh hadn't even caught that he was Thalen. He's like, what? And I was like, oh yeah. And I referenced the scene where she's warning the guards, or she's warning somebody and being like, okay, we got to keep an eye out for a Thalen man, a shorter Thalen man, and then like an average size lady, just kind of like describing them, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's Thalen.
See, and I just thought it was assumed because of the name.
See, I didn't even connect it because there's still an A and an I and an E.
M and R together, you don't typically have it that way.
Yeah, I guess I was not as good about thinking about the phonology, whatever, how the names are for all the different cultures and not applying them to the characters that we know. So the details I didn't think.
Yeah, but so that's the thing that's interesting, because it's also, as they're going through, the thing that ultimately ends up being Mraize's end in this story is, this is for Shallan, I love the appropriateness of it, is the fact that he overestimates her, which normally Shallan gets by getting people to underestimate her. But part of it is set up because I think it was when Eyatil went to stab her and she was able to do, some sort of sly flourish thing and disarm her and steal the knife. Yeah,
I think I had Josh remind me of how that fight went, and it's that he has a fully loaded anti-void light dagger still. She's used hers on Eyatil, but she makes him think that she swapped and did a sleight of hand, but she didn't.
Yeah.
So he drops his, takes hers, and then she picks up his, which is still the good one, and then uses it on him. So she gets into his head that way.
Yeah, but I can't remember how she stole it the first time, like the actual knife. Or was that in the first fight?
The person she's imitating had it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was another Scadrian, Southern Scadrian.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name at all. It's gone.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
There's too many names. There's too many names to keep straight, yeah.
It's a newish character too, so.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's able to do that, and Mraize makes a point to notice it. He's like, that's impressive. And it's just one of those, at the time, I don't think even Shallan knew that she was laying a foundation for something she was going to,
exploit
later. But
yeah,
it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, I don't know. I love little things like that in the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just clever.
It's also an interesting, this whole confrontation, and then them moving to where Dalinar and Navani are doing their thing to cross over into the spiritual realm. It's always interesting to me because you do have the two realms where you can't see from one into the other, but it's happening concurrently over it. And this is one of the first times where we've actually seen that kind of an interaction,
Oh, between
where there are people on one side and the other and actually interacting with each other. There's a few times we've seen it, because in Mistborn's Secret History we see.
Oh yeah.
But it's still not a common thing that Brandon has really done.
Yeah, I mean, he's, like you said in Lost Metal, he's taking the gloves off, so there's a lot more lore and intermixing and things like that are coming out.
Well, and it's a pretty niche situation where you can even try to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
But this one was definitely a very interesting niche situation.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with the weirdness that was going on with Rlain and Renarin's Spren, and how because they have the whole thing where the Spren they're terrified all the time because they're a thing that should not be. And so they're hiding inside their radiant.
Yeah.
Well, and what they've done, technically would piss off two shards, because even though Honor's got in his whole weird situation,
yeah,
they're doing something against Honor and against Odium.
Yep.
And so they're just like, we do not want to be seen because there are some scary people who don't like what we're doing.
Yeah, they don't fit into either culture very well, and so they're having to kind of dance that delicate line of where do we exist. Because both sides see them as kind of an abomination. So that's
which is rough. Rude.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting about it is the fact that, like, because the whole thing is, okay, all they really know is they want Ba-Auto Mishram, so we're not going to let them have it. And so they're constantly trying to figure out, like, they know the Ghostbloods are riding the exact same waves of Dalinar's visions that they're riding. So it's like, okay, we got to do our research and figure out where we are. But also at the same time, keep track on the surroundings and figure out where the Ghostbloods are. But don't try to stand out while you're doing it.
Yeah. It's like, do this and this and that and that and that and that all the time. And don't stand out. It's like, that's just rough to have to do that.
Fly casually.
It's so interesting because they're stalking, Mraize and, trying to find him. But at the same time, they're terrified to find him.
Yeah. I don't blame him because he's scary.
Well,
and Eotel's pretty scary too.
Especially when they have daggers that make people blow
Bad
up.
News. And it's not just the radiant. It could kill the Spren too.
Yeah, it could kill the Spren. Well, it's because, like, that's the thing. Shallan, like, has her armor in that first fight, and then she, like, as they're getting ready to shoot the anti-void light dart or whatever, she's like, I don't know how this affects my armor.
Right.
And so does she dismiss her armor temporarily or something?
She dismisses it and takes it herself.
Yeah.
Which was kind of awesome.
It's an interesting weakness to introduce because she cares about these Spren.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, their purpose is to protect her, but she's like, but I can protect them too.
I don't want them to die. It's just, especially because so many Spren are not used to the idea of themselves dying. Like, that's just a foreign thing to them, because she had to teach Pattern, like, here's what humans do, and here's how our bodies function, and that's death, and all these other things. And Pattern just did not grasp it. I mean,
well, to the point they exploited it in Lasting Integrity, where they had Shallan kind of lightly hit her head, and Pattern's like, "Oh no, what have you done? You have to give her Stormlight. She's dying." And the Wind Spreader or the Honor Spreader all like, "What? I didn't realize they're so delicate.
They're so fragile. What do we do?" Yep. Yeah.
There's something about conning someone with, I don't know, just that whole, oh no, everything's terrible.
It's like Avatar: The Last Airbender, when it's like, I'm going to defeat you, earthbending style, just the bad acting.
Oh yeah.
God. Alas, whatever shall I do?
I've seen there's like so many times in pop culture and things like that where, like, a woman will be like, oh no, I've sprained my ankle. Oh, the man has to pick me up and carry me. And so it shouldn't be shocking that Shallan did it, but it was Pattern that helped her out with it. And it was in a different way that didn't feel as tropey as
well, especially with Pattern just, having the best time of his life. He's getting to lie.
He gets to lie.
He's so confident in his abilities too, and they're just absolutely awful.
I know, but the others have done way better.
Yeah, luckily they picked up a good mark.
Yeah.
Other Spren
who really don't know. Yeah, I mean, and besides that, they don't trust cryptics anyway.
Yeah.
They don't know. They're just weird.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know. I guess this is my second favorite Shallan book. Number one being Words of Radiance. I guess I just like seeing her constantly putting, like, this is her kind of becoming a complete I mean, not really, because obviously Radiant is still in there, but she's putting.
This is a bit less of a broken Shallan, like, and those are kind of in Words of Radiance, and this one, this is Shallan who is stepping up even in the face of adversity.
Yeah, it's where she's able to make big steps forward and progress, and you can see all the steps to get there compared to some other books where she's backsliding and having a little like going all over the place and freaking out.
That's actually part of the plot, because it turns out Eotil's trying to portray herself as formless to get close.
Oh yeah, to mess her up, and she's like, not doing it.
Yeah, well, and because at first Shallan is kind of freaking out about it because they're in a strange realm. Who knows what could or could not? Yeah. And then finally, she kind of like, no, I actually am beyond this. I know this isn't formless, so who are you? And then,
choose the form of the destructor.
It's gonna be Eotil. Yep.
Well, and I like that because part of the reason it works is they shouldn't know about formless, but the reason they do is because of the Sion spy that they had with them the entire time.
Which is a Ghostblood. That's right.
Yeah, and when she sort of makes that connection, it's like, wait, they know about this, but what they don't know is that I'm over this. I'm not insecure about this anymore.
Yep, they know Shallan from 10 chapters ago, not this Shallan, or whatever.
And that in this entire book, that's actually the thing that undoes this this cell of the Ghostbloods is the fact that they don't know Shallan as well as they think they do.
Yep, which is usually what get confident people.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is everyone else, like Shallan's able to play off, she's kind of, this airheaded, head in the clouds artist. And so they underestimate her. Whereas the Ghostbloods, they do respect her. They do fear her even. They're just like, no, she's a problem, which is part of her existential crisis of, am I just going to kill everyone who's a mentor to me?
Which is rough. It's like a rough trend to live through.
Well, I mean, and that's one of the reasons that they belittle her so much is because they are afraid of her.
Because if they let her know,
how do we, remove this threat? We convince her that she's not one.
Yep. Except she's got a husband who teaches her how to stab things real good, and lots of good friends.
Especially now that she has a shard shield.
Oh yeah, and then she has Testament doing a lot better too, which is good. Which is going to be interesting to see her working with both Spren and seeing how that bond all works out.
10 years later.
Oh yeah, that's going to be crazy. And I mean, I'm hopeful that she gets back to the physical realm because, oh man, it would not be cool for poor Adolin to know that his kid, if he knows. I mean, because I'm assuming that she's able to.
He will, because by the end of the book, she has she has
Seon. Yeah.
And she asks the one that apparently was with Wit, but Wit advised it to get away from him.
Yeah.
Before he, got turned into a fine red powder.
So that could get to Adolin.
Missed.
And they, and it's like, hey, can you tell them to go to Azimir? And it's like, yeah, sure. And so she'll be able to get messages. It's just the only way she's going to be able to get back and forth is if Yesna can figure out proper Elts calling. Because Yesna's the only Elts caller in Urithiru.
Yeah,
and Yesna's not doing well herself.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that within 10 years, or even hopefully far less time than that she is able to get past her existential crisis.
Maybe that's why Brandon wants to do a gap. He's like, I don't want to have to write that.
I don't want to write Yasna putting herself back together because that's rough.
It is rough.
It is very rough.
But no, the other thing I like is Renari and Rlain don't really know, even though Renari, by all accounts, is fairly experienced in terms of being a Radiant, because he doesn't have anyone else he can bounce ideas off of because he's the only one. They don't really know quite what they can do.
Yeah.
And so they're both kind of figuring it out as it goes.
Yeah, because
trial and error.
Yeah, even though there are other truth watchers, they're not corrupted or what? Or they're not
enlightened.
Yeah, not
enlightened. Yeah, they don't work the same way, and so it's like,
I'm
I gotta
still
figure
not.
it out.
I'm still not convinced on the Enlightened. I think that's propaganda.
What?
So.
No, Shallan wouldn't do that to it. She wouldn't lie. She's
not
solid.
shady at all.
She did. We watched her lie. She said she didn't know where Shallan was.
Nah, that's fine. That was okay. That was cool. That was between bros.
She's just a triple agent. It's fine.
Okay.
You know, who knows? Yeah. I do remember liking that Rlain had found kind of a niche in teaching them how to grow plants at Urithiru, like, and teaching everybody that, and then they're all like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we can do that." And so they're embracing it and not treating him weird for. I mean, I thought he said that he felt a little bit weird kind of doing it, but he's also like, "But I'm being helpful." And
it felt almost like a traitorous thing because he's sharing singer secrets with humans who are these singers' enemies. You know,
but he's kind of in that weird. He's even more in the weird spot than his. Well, I mean, I don't know that his friend would say that it's in a weirder spot than he is, but he's kind of a uncomfortable balancing act there.
Well, I mean, the entire reason he is even with the humans is he went to spy on them.
Yeah.
And so now he's essentially joined them.
I mean, doesn't have much of a choice.
Yeah.
Other than betraying everything these people were about.
Yeah.
Which is also not fun.
Well, and now he does, he is sort of a liaison with the rest of the singers who left, or the listeners.
Yeah. But they
listeners.
But they don't know where they've gone, and
right.
They're trying to figure, like, Venli's whole crew, they have their own adventure.
That's true.
Where they're riding on the backs of great shells. They figure out the way the kind of social dynamic of the chasm fiends, where the chasm fiends, like a lot of animals have a alpha structure where it's like, you compete with the alphas, and they finally like, okay, we've determined humans are the alphas. So yeah, we can work with it as long as we're getting food. But, they have their whole structure, and it's like, okay, well, I guess we can work with this.
Yeah.
Speaking.
Yeah.
Which what? No, finish.
Oh, I was just going to say, when they show up with the few see them, they're like, so you got great shells working with you, huh?
Yeah.
Speaking of the Chasm Fiends, have either of y'all read the Chasm Friends short story?
It is so cute.
I haven't finished it.
I haven't actually. Was it?
And I got.
Well, you know how it works, like with the nonsense version and the regular version.
Yeah.
So for those who aren't aware, we've talked about it a little bit. The story deck.
The story that Lost Tales, yeah.
Yeah, the Lost Tales that they had at Dragonsteel Nexus. One of the 3 stories is called The Chasm Friends.
And it's like My Little Pony.
It's like this little group of cheerful, happy, friendly little chasm fiends that are going along. But within the Lost Tales, some of the cards, they have a normal version, and then they also have a nonsense version.
Yeah.
And in the different stories, the nonsense versions serve in a different way. And not every card necessarily has a nonsense version, but with Chasm Friends, they all do.
Well, it's only a section of them because it's not all 54 cards. It's only like
I thought for Chasm Friends it was all 54. Is it not?
No, it's only one page of the 9 or whatever. So it's a lot shorter than I thought.
But basically, what it is it's actually the story from a human perspective, and it's much darker and more terrifying than.
Yeah, and it does not resolve in a way that you're hoping. You're like, oh dear. And then I'm pretty sure that's the one he said that there's two stories that are canon and one that's not, and I'm pretty sure this is the non-canon one. As funny as it would be from the chasm.
I think Isaac is the one who wrote this one.
I can see that. It was super cute and fun.
Can't wait for Isaac's book.
Really oh man.
The Nikki Savage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that thing.
It'll be fun to see that.
Nicole Sauvage.
Yeah, just like it's like your name isn't good enough for this pulp stuff. Let's twist it up a little bit.
spice it up. Yeah. No, I did enjoy how, as much as like people have been kind of edgy about the Rlain and Renari relationship, like there were little hints here and there, and he didn't just be like, here's the relationship right in your face. He did take his time to build it up as the story went in here, and it didn't feel as forced, which was good.
The bigger thing I liked about it was the fact you just see that they actually do like work well together. Like it's very similar to Shallan and Adolin, where they actually figure out like it actually, like, I don't mean chemistry wise. I mean, like, they actually work well together. Like, they have a good working relationship because you can actually build on that.
Yeah, and there's little moments where, like, Renari doesn't like to be touched, and so Rlain would make sure to ask before he touched him. You know, just like those little considerations and little things matter. And so it's just kind of a nice.
Well, and it's interesting how the rhythms help him sort of pick up on that.
Yeah, that he's like, it helps clarify because he is on the spectrum. That's confirmed, right? That Renard's in the spectrum.
Yeah,
right?
there's something.
So yeah, and so a lot of things that I have heard around from is that they don't always pick up on what the social cues are that neurotypical people do, and so they will just assume, okay, here's the rules, and they go and follow through with those rules, even though the neurotypical people are hinting and whatever else that, no, you're supposed to do X, Y, Z, and they're not picking up on it. And so I think having the rhythms there is a nice guidepost and a nice marker for Renari to be like, nope, this is the mood. This is kind of what we're going with.
Yeah. It's also a little bit of a payoff because it's something that we see from Esh and I's flashback chapters where when they meet the humans and they think like, oh, there's something wrong. Like maybe this group of humans just can't, you know, but when we get to the other ones, and it's like, no, they can't hear the rhythms at all. And
they're tone deaf. Yeah, they don't.
But, and then when we get to Rabboniel and she's like, oh yeah, but you can't do the rhythms because you're not of Roshar, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, we are. And
we've been here for a long time.
We've been here a long, long time. Yeah.
And Navani starts to show like, no, like we can, like she has some sense of these rhythms, like as she starts studying it. And it's one of these things. It's everyone sort of assumes humans just don't have rhythms.
Yeah.
Because they're saying that you don't got rhythm.
They ain't got rhythm.
They ain't got rhyme. No, but but I mean, since humans haven't had to communicate with singers and everything else, they don't notice them until it's kind of in their face more, and so then they can notice it more.
Yeah, well, and I just think it's a especially good thing that Brandon's pulling off here because it'd be so easy with, you know, the humans conquered the singers and stuff, and he could show it all only going one way. But it's like, no, like the judgment comes from both sides. Like the fused have millennia of judgments that they have pinned on the humans. Yeah. And he just does a good job of showing it's like, no, it's both ways. They're both making really bad judgments, you know, of what they think they know compared to the other. And it's like, no, you don't know as much as you think you do. And they're not as limited as you think they are.
Yeah, you have to take off your prejudices and see them for what they are, not for what you assume they are, and ignore those biases that you have built up.
Yep, that's how prejudice works.
Well, especially, I was going to say,
it means prejudge.
So. Yeah. But especially with the, especially in a setting where you're at war with someone, like it's interesting because war is actually one of the things that builds up prejudices far more quickly because literally it's a us versus them thing, and all our simian instincts take over. And
there's a propaganda that naturally kind of seems to happen with war because you want to build up your side, and so that's going to make it worse and worse and worse.
Exactly. And so, but it's actually when it's the most critical to figure out where you're wrong and what you need to understand about them because you're at war.
Understanding their goals and whatever else would be important. So as stepping back for a second, I remembered when I was learning Chinese, I learned a little bit of Mandarin. I took it for a year in high school. There was definitely some points where my teacher, she was a native speaker, and she's like, oh, well, here's the same sound, or these 4 different equivalents of letters. And I could not hear the difference for a while. And I know now I wouldn't be able to hear it anymore. But there was one time I was doing a test, and I kind of like tried to do all 4 of them. And then she's like, okay, good, you did it perfect. And she was the next person. And I was like, I have no idea if I did anything different. Like I just mimicked enough to get by. But I mean, it's the same kind of thing where it's the process of like, you have to learn, and you just have to do it over and over and over again, where, like where Renari and Navani both were able to tune into the rhythms more. And so the same with like doing tones and different things like that, and different sounds from different languages all across our earth, and I'm sure someone who actually speaks Mandarin, because I can like do a few words, but I'm really terrible at it now, would be able to give you a lot deeper in-depth into it. But there's a lot of those tonal languages, it's people who don't deal with tones just can't hear it the same way.
Yeah.
You have to train your ear. So anyway.
Man, mimic enough to get by. That's just the motto of any student in a foreign language class.
It was like
fair enough.
And I can't remember what the 4th one was, but like, yeah. And I'm sure I totally slaughtered it. And but I'm just like, it was like saying, because it's like a C, a Z, and then something else. We're like how we represent them in pinyin, which is the English letters. But yeah, it was just crazy.
Have either of y'all ever heard of the game, not video game, just like a board game type thing? It's called A Fake Artist Goes to New York.
No.
I feel like my in-laws might have that.
It's a really small, simple game, but basically what happens is there's a word, and everyone but one person in the group knows the word. I don't remember exactly how they find out the word, but everybody but one person knows the word, and that one person, like nobody knows who that person is. And they take turns drawing a single line or portion of a picture of that word. And the person who doesn't know what the word is trying to draw something so that people won't realize, oh, they're the one who doesn't know it. And the people who do know what it is are trying to draw clearly enough that people realize that they do know the word, but vaguely enough that the other person can't figure out what the word is.
Oh, I have played that. Yeah, I have played that.
Love this
it's
concept.
Crazy. It's such a weird game. It's trippy. It's even weirder when you're playing with little kids. That makes it harder.
It really is nuts. But it's it's that similar concept of, blend in for as long as possible. Just, mimic enough to blend in.
Don't be suspicious.
And then it's been used
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Yes.
But yeah.
No,
all right, now's probably a good time to take a break.
Oh, yeah.
Although if you had a thought, Jordan,
No, go ahead.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we will see the rest of y'all in just a little bit.
Yep.
51 minutes exactly.
Be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. That's a sound, and I think I did a Jawa video to that one. Yeah, where like me and my Muriel were like Jawas, and we're like creeping along, trying not to look suspicious.
Do you know what it's originally from?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Parks and Rec, and it's like the 2 most hateable characters in the show.
One of them is just awful. The other one is awful, but I love him anyway.
Yeah. Well, one of them is
because it's Ben Schwartz. Because it's Ben Schwartz.
She's the worst person in the world.
Who is seriously genuinely funny.
I've seen like 3 episodes maybe, and I'm not remembering characters, and that's okay.
Oh, it's a great show.
Jean Ralphio. Especially
after season 1/2.
Okay, because I don't think I didn't make it past season 1. Didn't even make it the whole way through.
Season 1 is rough.
Well, and it doesn't help that like Josh doesn't do secondhand embarrassment well, and so there's
less of that in Parks and Rec. Than in The Office, but
yeah, the Office I haven't. I've seen enough of the little memes to kind of know sort of what's going on, but I I haven't ever really watched it just because I can't make myself sit down for like that whole time and just to do it.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Smart.
Okay, go for it. So no, there's been a lot of times on like TikTok videos, people will be like, "Oh, I love that show" or whatever else, and I'm like, I had no idea what that sound was from. It was just a funny line. So sometimes I'll look it up and be like, "Oh, that was from the show called Hell of a Boss," or this other thing, or whatever else, and I'm like, "Yes." I totally
am hip
know what
and
you're
with it.
talking about. Yes, it's fine. There's a lot of things that I'm like, I don't know. It's just a funny sound. I'm gonna use it.
The internet is just amazing in that regard. Like, I'll hear of some drama that's going on between two channels that both have 4 million, followers, and I'm like, I have not heard of either of these at all.
Of either of these ones, yeah.
And it's
from that other random corner that I don't ever deal with.
And that's just how the internet is.
Uh-huh.
There's just a bunch of random corners, and I'm not in all of them.
No, you can't be in all of them because it's too much to keep track of. It's too much.
Way too much.
Mm-hmm.
On the plus side, there's a lot of other good stuff too.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm glad when I can breathe through my nose all the time instead of just sometimes.
It'll eventually happen.
It'll eventually happen.
I promise you. You will breathe again.
I will breathe again. Yeah. It does make me feel better when I'm like going up or down the stairs and I'm like, I'm more winded than I should be. And I'm like, oh, you've got a cold. You're excused. It's fine. I'm still out of shape, but I'm more excused.
It's not that you're old. It's that you have a cold.
I have a cold. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh man.
Second damage will I take?
I hope my breathing isn't too loud because I feel like it's loud. Talk to a girl is
talking about how we don't know what's going on.
Oh,
like suddenly suddenly everyone knows about a thing. You're just like, I don't know what this thing is.
Well, I know there's a Parks and Rec quote that I don't know the context of, but I think it's Chris Pratt's character.
Yeah.
He's like, "Your secret's safe with me." So now I'm going to tell you all my secrets, and like he goes and does this whole like monologue.
Yeah, the line is like, I was like, I don't know who Al Gore is, and at this point, I'm afraid to ask.
I'm too afraid to ask. I did.
I feel that moment in the show.
There was somebody as like their Twi'lek had done like the person getting bombarded with all of these secrets from the person, and I did it as my Jawa. So that was kind of fun. That I got to do that one. I was like, oh yeah. And I mean, that video didn't do great, but whatever. I'm doing my TikToks to have fun. And I'm past the 1,000 subscriber mark, so I can do lives if I feel so inclined. Though I did do a live when I was doing my Night Radiant skirt, and I had like a bunch of people bop in and out, but like hardly anybody stuck around. And I was like, I'm probably not being interesting enough. Sorry, I don't know how to be interesting doing this.
It takes a lot of practice, and I'm still struggling with it.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm going to go use the restroom now.
Okay. Oh man, I'm tired. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what a Hawk-Tuah girl. I've heard the word.
It's so dumb.
Is it? Okay. I'm gonna look it up just so I know what it is.
Basically, what happens? It was one of those street interviews and they were asking like how to please a guy or something, and she said like you got to like something about spitting on his neck. I don't. It was.
Oh, I'm looking at the Wikipedia, and you're good. I don't.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's
okay.
Yeah.
That's gross. I'm sorry.
But like for some reason it went viral, and then she basically tried to milk it for all it was worth, and yeah, it's not
well, it's
cool.
her 15 minutes of fame, so yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, and that's the thing is it was a 15 minutes of fame type thing, and she tried to turn it into a career.
And that's just a gross thing to do it off of too.
Yeah.
I'm over here with my headphones on, and here Amy, it's like, I'm going to look it up, and I'm over here, it's The Mummy, and I'm like, don't read from the book!
Don't read the book!
There's forbidden knowledge! Don't do it!
Don't do it. No, that is not the family-friendly part.
Sorry, I'm looking at just look at the stuff online in the break time, and I forgot one of the best lines from Frasier. Her lips said no, but her eyes said, "Read my lips."
Oh my goodness.
It was like, that's a clever way of saying I struck out.
That's a double no. Nope.
Oh, it was such a great show. The original one, not the new one. The new one is bad. That was a wise decision.
Yeah, your goodness graphic. Don't look it up.
You have chosen wisely.
Ooh.
She chose Wesley.
Have you guys seen the posts or people like saying they should do the Princess Bride, but only have like one person be a human and everybody else is Muppets, or it's like all.
Yeah, they've said that for a lot of different things, and Princess Bride is one of the ones. It's just like, okay, that's. I would have loved that 20 years ago.
Yeah, like now it would be kind of rough.
Even 30 years ago, because like even if it was after Jim Henson died, you still had the core group, like in the Brian Henson directing days, because he did Christmas Carol and Treasure Island. Yeah,
like it's funny because like Josh is not a big Muppets person, so like the kids haven't really seen too many of them, so they're not really big. Either they're like about it, and I'm like, what?
I have 3 posters down in my TV room. One of them is Fraggle Rock, one of them is the Muppets, and one of them is Yoda, and so they're all Muppets.
And I lived here for 11 years before my brain made that connection.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we had this conversation.
That's right, we did.
Where I was thinking like for a Christmas gift, I'm like, he needs another poster. And it wasn't until like I examined to think what would fit in that my brain just suddenly went, wait a second. Like,
I'm sensing a theme. It's like, speaking of Yoda, and anyway, random connection, but so Weird Al is going to be doing a concert in June. Yeah,
where?
In June.
In Salt Lake.
Yeah. And
I was doing one in Idaho. I didn't know he was doing Salt Lake too.
Yeah, he's doing one at least on the 23rd, I think, or something of June, that Monday, and the 501st is going to be there. So
nice.
So I'm probably not going to end up on stage because he probably is only going to want to have like straight stormtroopers on there, maybe, and maybe Vader or something, which I don't have any of.
Is that for the Saga Begins or something? Or?
I don't know. I just know that they want us there. So if you're going to see people in costumes. So it's more likely I'll just be there saying hi to people, around wherever. So I'll either be my biker scout or my Jawa, but we'll see.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. The Yoda poster reminded me. I was like, oh, yeah.
And when are you doing that again?
That's June 23rd or something like that.
It's going to be hot.
I can double check. So it'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to that.
No, it'll be hot. It's June.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 23rd of June. So fun times. Yip. I have been tempted to do like the yip costume, just because it seems easy. Like the giant, like you would just have your
the
arms
yip
be the
aliens.
mouth, and then yip.
Yeah.
They were my favorites as a kid. I don't know why.
Now those are different from the Kuzbanians, right?
The are those the?
I think the Kuzbanians are the ones with the horn. That's right. Okay.
Those ones, yeah. No.
The Kuzbanians are the ones that are like on an alien planet, and Kermit's a reporter who watches their mating ritual where they, charge into each other and explode into a million tiny little.
Oh, yeah, those are different than what I was thinking.
I don't remember this.
They look like pancakes stacked, and then like some arms and like a weird mouth head thing. Oh my goodness, yeah, I don't remember them. I mean, I'm sure I watched them, but I don't remember it.
Oh yeah, that was a classic episode. But yeah, he's like on their planet and watching, like he's reporting on this very rare mating ritual, and they bark back and forth to each other, and then sort of rev up and charge into each other, and then in this huge explosion, it rains down tiny little Kuzbanians.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Trying to figure out how that works physiologically.
I would not try.
It's megamitosis.
Ah, that makes sense.
No, but just the yip. Whatever those guys are called.
I think they are just called the yip yips.
Yip yips.
Muppet.
Yip aliens.
Yips. Oh, just the Martians.
Oh, the Martians. Oh, sometimes called the yip yips.
I didn't realize they were supposed to be from Mars.
I don't know.
It's funny because they always make me think of the seagulls from Finding.
Hey.
Mine.
No, I was thinking of the crabs.
The knife-fighting crabs.
Darn straight.
Oh, sheesh. Anyway, but that would be a pretty easy costume to do. It'd just be kind of funny to do, too.
You just buy a rug.
Yeah, buy a lot of fabric, cut out a hole where you want the mouth to be, put in the mouth part, and then have your arms and do the eyeballs. The little antenna.
So would the arms just be like the mouth, and you...
So you would do this, and you would have the eyeballs above your head, and then you'd have your arms, and then you just go like this.
Okay.
Yep.
So the bottom lip is your hands.
Yeah. You just do that.
And you just smack yourself in the face repeatedly.
Yep. You can just do that. I think you can do it this way. Not so much right here, but right here.
So it's a little bit Monty Python monks.
Oh.
We're the monks. Oh wait, that's a different thing.
No, that's Gallivant.
Oh man.
Man, I wish I could find a physical copy of that.
Oh, do they not have a physical copy of Gallivant?
They have them, but they're rare, so it's like $200.
Ooh.
Is what the only thing I've found. So if somebody can find me a much more reasonably priced one, I would love to have that.
Because that is...
I can. It just won't be legitimate.
I want legitimate.
Cheap as free toys. That's a strong bad thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's they're the ones who made the cheat commandos.
That's right.
Oh, because it's unavailable on Amazon.
Yeah, if you go to eBay, it's like $200 for any. And of course, you never know if you're actually getting a legitimate copy anyway.
Yeah, I think I got one random anime, and I was like, "This looks like it's not legit." After I got it,
that's my introduction to anime. Unfortunately,
I have a copy that looks of Rurouni Kenshin. That looks good. Like it looks genuine, but it reads funky in all my players. So I'm just like, and it is like it is NTSC. It's not PAL or anything. So it is region 1. Region 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I don't. It doesn't
Yeah.
read properly. So.
No, that was my first experience. I had a friend, her family all lived in Taiwan, and I started watching Dragon Ball Z, and she's like, hey, I can get anime for cheap in Taiwan. And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, do you want me to get you some? I'm like, sure, yeah, find stuff you think I'd like. And so I'm in high school, so I'm a gullible idiot. And she comes back, and the CDs just have like the words written on them, and I'm like, why do they just have it written on them? It's like, well, because like these are the prefab ones that don't they don't get all the fancy stuff. Oh, okay. And it's not until I can't, like, there's no menu for it and everything. I'm like, these are just pirated. Like, it just
Nah, legit.
I'm like, if only there were some sides beforehand that could have warned me of this.
Did you do the Home Alone thing where you hung your head and went, I'm a criminal?
No, I just sort of rolled. She's a criminal. I'm at best an accomplice.
Oh, yeah.
Or I guess at worst in this case.
Oh, speaking of anime, I did order season 1 of My Hero Academia.
Oh, nice. I think you'll like it.
I saw a decent deal on it, and I figured, why not?
I haven't been able to watch it. It's too high school for me. I can't do the high school shows anymore.
Amy's more mature than us.
She is.
I'm just burned out on them.
See, my relationship with anime is so weird because, like, I went through a period where I absolutely loved them, and then just completely dropped them at one point. I felt like, okay, I guess I outgrew this. And when I say at some point, I'm talking about like I was 15.
Oh,
and I think part of it was just the people I knew who liked anime were the people who got like super obsessed with it to the point where I was like, okay, I'm a little weirded out now. So maybe I'm done with that. But like over the past several years, I've been like, I want to go back to that. I really wish that I'd,
watch a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I watched it for quite a while, and like I'll still watch things here and there, but a lot of the new stuff is like high school based or all these other things, and the plots will get high schooly, for lack of a better word, and I just can't make myself care about it. And like I'll watch these shonen protagonists do stuff, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I just can't with you right now.
I did really enjoy Sword Art Online the first season or two.
Okay, it looks pretty. I haven't tried it. Like there's a bunch of them that I haven't.
It's definitely
tried.
Pretty.
Yeah, no, it's a great. The first season is amazing, and then it starts to go kind of off.
Oh yeah.
No, the thing I like about My Hero Academia is it actually somewhat has a almost Sandersonian magic system to the powers, where it's like
everything I've seen kind of reminds me of Steelheart.
Yeah, it's similar. Not so much that they have flaws, or like a weakness. It's more that everyone's powers, there's a downside to them that they have to train themselves either out of or how to deal with it. Like one of the best examples being one of the guys, his sweat is nitroglycerin. And so he's able to detonate it, for big explosions. The downside is he's limited by his sweat. And so in a training sequence, he's like sticking his hands in like really hot water to get his pores to open up so that he can sweat more.
Oh man.
I'm guessing he's always staying hydrated too.
Yeah, and so it's just, and then another one, he can be super strong when he consumes sugar, but the problem is he doesn't have anything that makes him resistant to eating sugar. So he gets tummy aches. And so he has to trade himself out of that.
Well, it's kind of like, even in, modern superhero stuff, the Flash has a super fast metabolism, so he's always eating.
He's always hungry, yeah.
That's one as a comic book fan. It's like they're always inconsistent with it, but I like it as a concept, so I just let it slide.
Well, but like in in the DCAU, it was something that showed up a lot, wasn't it?
Not really, not that much.
No, it was Young Justice that it showed.
Yeah, even then, it only shows up when they need it to show up.
Fair enough.
And then they forget about it. And then it's like, all right, it's a plot point again. Anyway, we probably should get on to the second half.
We definitely should. Okay, I'm going to get the new room. Oh, you'll swap places for me.
I tried to be slower so it wouldn't mess it up.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter for Jordan.
Oh, it doesn't matter for Jordan?
No.
Yeah.
Because I'm always first. And which means you're always second for him.
Okay. I was trying not to jump the gun because I came in late.
It doesn't make sense that it ever switches. It shouldn't be possible, yet somehow it happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know what voodoo Zencaster has going on.
So where do we want to go with the discussion next?
I'm going to start talking about Mraize and Yatil a bit.
Good call. One sec. I'm going to need to pull back a little bit again.
Okay.
All right. And starting in 3. Okay, ready for the clap?
Mm-hmm.
And 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, so we've talked a bit about Shallan and kind of what she was doing before heading into the spiritual realm. We've talked about Renari and Rlain and how they're working together and figuring stuff out with their whole Spren and just what's going on with this Yatanat Spren and that. But there's another group of people who is kind of surfing through the spiritual realm with them. And that would be Mraize and Ayatil.
Yeah.
Our antagonists.
Yes.
Which we've covered her disguising herself as formless.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so interesting watching, because like they're going into these new areas and they're trying to find someone who hasn't set the stage. So it's not like they're in an area that they're familiar with. They're not. It's not necessarily an ambush, but they're both in this weird game of hide and seek with each other.
Yeah,
and they're
both
to watch what's going on. Yeah, they're both like, I don't want them to catch me, but I want to be in position to catch anything that Dalinar and Avani spill, or that whatever else, to be able to jump on it, but I don't want to be caught with them. And so it's just weird cat and mouse.
Did y'all ever play the game Assassin in college, where it's like everybody is assigned a target?
I did not.
Feel like maybe once, but I'm not very good at it.
Throw a water balloon at them, or shoot them with a dart gun or something,
or like a water gun, or or just whatever.
And then if you take somebody out, then you acquire their target.
Yeah,
and it's this huge area, and it's the same kind of thing. It's just like you're the hunter and the hunted at the same time.
And you don't know who's coming. I mean, you don't know who's coming at you, and then they know their base person who's coming at them, but they don't know who they're disguising themselves as.
Yeah.
Because, let's see, is Iatil the Elf Scholar, or is that Mraize?
I think Iatil's the Elf Scholar.
Is the Elf Scholar.
I'd have to double check what Mraize is. But I think that was Iatil. Well, the Enlightened Elf Scholar.
Well, and that's the thing.
And one of them, the other one was a... Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and that's the only time we've, before this, the only Spren we've seen, the only Radiant Spren that we've seen that has been enlightened are the Truth Watcher Spren. So it's interesting to see like a twisted version of.
And he was an enlightened Lightweaver.
Lightweaver.
That's right. I thought it was.
Which is fitting.
Well, it makes sense. He's been studying Shallan. I think it makes a lot of sense that he would be like, okay, I want her ability. Whereas Iatil would have been probably the one who was chasing Yasna the entire time.
I wonder if there's any meaning behind the fact that we've seen truth watchers, which share a surge with light weavers, and now we've seen else callers, which share a surge with light weavers,
and so with else callers, right? Or no, never mind. Truth watchers are the healers. Never mind.
So true. But what I'm saying is we have 3 adjacent orders.
Yeah, I wonder if Jotnuts is slowly spreading out her influence in between the different spread that way. Like if
I don't know.
It makes sense as far as what the Spren are, that they would be the ones more willing to experiment in this way.
Yeah.
I just realized that would mean that Mraize has an enlightened cryptic, which would be very interesting in concept.
Yeah, we didn't ever get to see it.
Right.
Because it's probably not around anymore.
No, the thing I liked about one, it's just the fact that they're all looking for tells that show, okay, which person in this vision is a person who's acting as opposed to not. Wait, but I'm trying to not appear like I'm not act. Oh crap. Okay, wait. How do I? There's so much double think going on. When Mraize shows up, like, and it's like, and then they get attacked by Honor, and you're just like, Mraize is Honor. Like, that was good.
Oh, that was a great
hide right in the center of everything.
Yeah, that was a great little twist.
Yeah.
And I did not. That's one I didn't see coming at all.
No, that one caught me by surprise as well.
Well, and I think part of that is because, these highly invested people seem more likely to actually understand what's going on. Like we see Hoyd, and like he knows exactly what's going on. It's like, well, Honor kind of probably is going to be in a similar boat, but no, this is just a complete fabrication.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things. It actually makes a lot of sense to impersonate Honor when you think about it, because he's the one that's going to lie. Well, and it's also he's the one who's going to be the most alien to you. So you have no tell of what a god is going to be acting like.
Yeah, anything that seems off, you would attribute to, oh, this is a shard.
He's a shard. He's been alive for how long? Yeah, I don't know. So
I liked in the first vision, it's like, okay, we got to find out who it is. Okay, I got to act like I'm one of these people. What do these people do? Oh, they'd help these people who have this one cart that's broken. And then, like, as they're clearly trying to get her to move away because they think she's a vision, she's like, why are holy crap, we had the exact same idea. That's them. Again, it's like whenever you play hide and seek and then 2 people pick the same spot, you're like, ah, crap.
You can't be here. I'm here. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I loved the cat and mouse game. I also loved when they had that moment, just her and Mraize, where they're like on top of like the dead Santhid or whatever it was. And they have the heart to heart where Mraize is like, look, with Yatil dead, I'm in charge. I'm not going to be stuck on this rock. I love Shallan's counter offer to him. I thought it was a really clever idea where she's just like, hey, we're going to need representatives to go out into the Cosmere for us. Drop this. You can be our representative. You can visit the stars, Mraize. Like, and you could like, for a moment, you see Mraize actually considers it. Like this is a pretty good offer.
Well, she reverses the roles too, because he's been recruiting her this whole time.
Yeah.
And she's turning around on him.
Which it is kind of the tragedy of Mraize and Shallan's relationship, because it's never been one of warmth, but it's been it does have the respect that she's been craving her entire life. And I wonder if she didn't gain a good relationship with Dalinar and Navani the way she had, if she might have fallen prey to it. But now that she actually has people who are acting as proper parent figures in her life, she's able to
be like, no, that's not a good life choice.
Yeah. Well, because again, like he is providing her things that she's never had before. And it's not, the thing is, it's not even a cynical thing. Like he's doing it just to be manipulative. Like you can tell there's he genuinely likes her, but you know, he wants her to join. And it's like, now their goals are very cynical and their attitudes are definitely cynical, but it's just one of those things that you can see, like, this isn't some act he's putting on. He genuinely is impressed by her and respects her and wants her to come along, because that's going to be better for everyone. But their principles just drive them apart. And it's like, no, there isn't really one of us has to give up here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to come to blows.
Mm-hmm.
And it ultimately does. And she does the most clever thing and plays off the fact that he overestimates her.
Yep.
Especially because the thing is, there is some vanity to him. Where, I mean, this is a man who's taken... He goes to great lengths to make sure he's always well dressed and all this other stuff. And so Shallan being so clever does also make it so that there's a little bit of pride in him. It's like, look at how well I've chosen, my apprentice, as opposed to everyone else who's, she's outsmarting all you idiots. And so when she makes him think that she swapped the daggers, it's that moment of, holy crap, she's gotten so much better than I realized.
She figured out how to do that too. Oh no.
Yeah, I didn't even see that. And instead, she's relying on the fact that he's going to overestimate me and I'm better at light weaving than he is.
Yep. So I'm going to make him think that, I totally did that. Nope. We're going to switch back.
I know you know that I know that you know.
And like, that's the stuff that just makes my brain hurt. Like reading it, you're like, no, I can't. There's like 5 layers to it and I don't like it. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Sad part is that's the last time she got to use Stormlight too.
Oh.
It was anti-Stormlight.
Yeah. It's going to be weird. Like that's still trippy to me. There's not just like straight Stormlight. It's like Life Light and Void Light. Yeah.
Yeah.
War Light.
Well, and that's... I did some rereading at the end because I was trying to remember the order things go, and I forgot that Taravangian had a moment where he got a hold of Dalinar's soul. Like, and he had this moment of, and like he's able to hold on to him because he's an Oathbreaker, and he's like, I can torture you forever, and it's like, and like he feels this moment of, and it's like, what is my soul worth to you? What is my soul worth? Nothing. You're worthless. And Dalinar then says, and I've traded it for everything. Like, and it's like, thus I win. And then his soul gets pulled to the beyond, and he's like, no, he got the freaking last word.
Yep.
Which again echoes Sadeas and his trade with Oathbringer. Because he trades it, and then Kaladin's just like, what? Those things are worth kingdoms, and it's like, and what is the worth of a man's soul? It's like, it's priceless. Then I definitely got the better of the deal.
I got the deal here because I got all these souls.
Several, I got hundreds.
And it's like, again, it's just Brandon did a good job of foreshadowing future events.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dalinar is willing to make a deal that others would undervalue.
Yeah.
The other thing I forgot because obviously at the end of the book, Shallan is trying to find ways, and I forgot she went to the Horneater Peaks.
Now, remind me, Renari and Rlain are in the physical realm, correct?
Yes.
Shallan is stuck. Okay.
Because they like release bottomish room, and that's how they get bopped through. Is that how that works?
I believe Shallan stayed through because she's going after Mraize.
Is that okay?
Because it's like this has got to end.
I can't leave them loose here. They're too much of a threat.
Yeah, so they're on this side, the physical realm. How I mentally think of it.
In your Ethereal, correct?
Yeah.
Inside?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no play, and like because even when she exits into the spiritual realm, just because that's where they were, and she has the problem of she goes to the oath gate
the
sprint
cognitive realm,
or the cognitive realm. She goes to the oath gate sprint. It's like, quick, let me through. It's like, we can't. What do you mean you can't? It's like you have no stormlight. What do you mean? I got plenty of stormlight, right?
Oops.
Where's all the stormlight?
That didn't happen. What?
And then Odium tries to pull everything into him.
Yeah, but Kaladin stops that.
You have to rule everything.
There was, and rereading that, there was something that I missed that I think is going to be a plot point. There's a moment where Taravangian takes stock of all that he has, and he's like, "Okay, I have to leave Azir alone because they earned it. I'm going to have to leave the Shattered Plains mostly alone because they because of the deal they did. But I don't foresee that being a problem because they're in a weird half state. I'll be able to do that." It's like the Reshi Isles. Well, I took over all the land. None of the people on the Wandering Isles submitted to me, but I don't think they're really going to be that important. And it was something like, I missed that the first read through.
Oh,
and it's like,
I didn't.
Well, and remember, Lift is Reshi.
Yeah,
she is, and her book's number 6, right?
It's an interesting thought. I hadn't even really considered.
Well, it's good. I just completely glossed over it.
Yeah, because I mean, when we do see the Reshi Isles, we're seeing the Wandering Isles. We don't even see the solid ones, right? When we
let's see. Okay, I found it. Good. Likewise, he would allow the Shattered Plains to have a kind of autonomy themselves. What of the rest? Roshar was entirely dominated. His agents in the Shin government had succeeded while the heralds were distracted. The Reshi Isles, he had the land, all of it, though those who rode the beast had largely rejected his offers. They weren't worth the effort.
Well, that's definitely going to come back.
Yeah. And I can't see them. Yeah, I can see them being very much like, no, we're independent parties. We're not gonna submit to that. Yeah.
And the Reshi King is also
a Deathbringer.
Yeah, so there's radiance among the Reshi.
Yeah, but they don't have light. But who knows what other wackiness is going on?
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, we have a Night Watcher that is just out there somewhere.
Do we know what's going on with the Pure Lake?
We know that it shattered, that the things that the levees broke because there was flooding in Azir as a result.
Forgot about that.
Okay.
There was there was kind of an offhand comment by Adolin. I'd have to go back and look through it.
Yeah, I don't remember for sure on that one.
So the water there might be lower. I don't know.
Right.
But no, so yeah, she finds her way to the Haka something or other. I don't know. It's one of the mountain names that have way too many syllables for me to ever reliably say it correctly. But it sounds really cool when you do. I know it started with Haka, and it was where the cultivation's perpendicularity was. And they
it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone because she hightailed it out of there. And so she gets there and she finds Feld, and Felt just goes white. It's like, oh
no.
And it's like, I'm not here to fight. I said, oh, thank goodness, because
I don't got nothing right now.
And speaking of the peaks, we've still got a book about rock coming out.
Yep.
Novella.
Yeah, because we got to figure out what's going on with that.
Yeah, but he has I forgot that because she requests to use the Sion to talk to Thadakar, and she's able to do it, and Thadakar has to explain, like, look, I know you think this is a conversation, but it is hours between when you send us something and we're able to send it back, and it's the Sion's ability to slow down what we're saying for you to even be able to understand what this is because of the time dilation effects. And it's like, so I can't advise, like, that's the thing. Like, I like how Kelsey is just over here, like, just kind of like, look, like, I do not recommend you trying to go off world to help, because if there's anyone you care about on your planet, by the time you get back, they'd be long gone.
Yeah, so you got to stay there for now.
You got to figure it out. And it's like, and she sues for peace, basically. And he's like, yeah, I can, I like, between you and me, that's fine. Beyond
that,
her Yatil's brother is probably going to try and split off from me. So
now, remind me, in the Lost Metal, at one point, does Kelsier mention, like, he talks about Roshar at one point?
Yeah.
And does he mention like a crazy woman or something?
No, he does.
Around?
Well, it's not him that says it. It's Twin Soul. Twin Soul has the thought of her, his sister. I can't remember the name of the Southern Scadrian that's on with them, which he's actually.
It's not codenamed.
Yeah, and it's like he says his sister is running amok on Roshar.
Okay.
Which we find out from Kelsier here, he hasn't told her brother yet.
Which I don't blame him. I mean, he's kind of just, I want to bide my time until I have to deal with that.
And it's one of those things when Marasi says, it's like, what about you? Are you keeping secrets, from your people? And Kelsier sort of just smiles. And back then we just thought, well, of course, he's Kelsier's keeping secrets.
He's gonna keep
and then once we know that, it's like, oh, he was thinking of a specific one.
He's going, yeah.
Oh, that's a lot spicier than what I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing is funny.
I couldn't remember if he had specifically said who or if he just said that woman. Because
I think it was his sister, so-and-so's sister.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if he had said that woman, he was talking about Shallan, not.
So, yeah, because I remember it being a very clear inference of it's Yatil.
Yeah. Delaval. That's the name of her brother. Delaval.
Oh, yeah, there's the D and the V. I remember there was the weirdness with that. Yeah. That's right.
Which is close to devil. But
it's also a Thalen sounding name, which is interesting because
Thalen and
Southern Scattered.
They have some, depending how they do things, they kind of bounce off. But the other thing is they're not from Southern Scadrial, actually. They're from Silverlight.
Right. Yeah. But they're obviously still following their traditions of their culture.
Yeah, because they have the masks.
They got the masks.
Oh, that was the other thing in the reread I had somehow missed. As Taravangian's freaking out because he suddenly realizes Dalinar's master stroke to get everyone to focus on him. He has a thought, and it's like, I've got to buy myself time. And it's like, I've got to cause chaos on Scadrial somehow. And so I have a feeling that he somehow maybe opened the door for autonomy to go after Scadrial or something.
Well, I feel like she was already messing with stuff.
She was, because when Wit shows up on Scadrial, Ulam tells him
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he tells autonomy's on the move.
Yeah, which to me feels like she was already doing stuff. It wasn't.
Yeah. She's been planting seeds for centuries.
Yeah, and so
it's
just one of those things that you're just like, you're starting to see plans within plans within plans.
Yeah.
And how everyone is starting to plot against one another, and they're all it's gonna be 32 Xanatos pile up.
Oh man, yeah.
But no, the fact that Kelsier's withholding that, your sister got killed. And depending upon how you phrase it, she died, 20 years ago in her frame of reference. It was last month here.
It was not as long as it for me. But
that was the other thing that was interesting, is Kelsier confirmed that the time dilation was strongest at the beginning and it's slowing down, and it'll eventually move into sync. And so the time dilation is going to get less and less an issue. It's not like it's suddenly going to turn off.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's true. Yeah. So that's going to be hard to keep everything lined up with when things happen.
But it's one of those things, because it happened by accident. Like, Taravangian wasn't planning on doing the time dilation thing.
Yeah.
It's just, as Kelsier talks about, when shards like fuse or die, weird things happen. When, when Harmony was created, there was all, the entire world got reshaped. When Autonomy died, it scarred several planets. And now this is doing that. Okay, don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
Can't hear you,
all the different
Bill.
things.
You mean ambition?
Or Ambition, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, that...
Sorry, wrong A name.
No worries.
Lots of A's.
It's just interesting, because now we have the even more interesting situation where Shallan has negotiated to have the Sion come with her and be her companion now. And she knows that the Sion is a double agent for the Ghostbloods. And the Sion knows that she knows.
So it's kind of like, well, it's mutually beneficial that I get info from you and you use me to get info, elsewhere. And
well, look, Kelsier's my favorite character. I like that it's like, this is actually a pretty good negotiation on your part, because you having that's going to be very valuable. You'll be able to use that to negotiate your way through the cognitive realm. Which
Plus,
now I have eyes on you the entire time.
Yeah.
Plus, you know that Pattern and Testament are going to find it absolutely fascinating, this whole situation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lies.
I also find it interesting that she says at the end, like, the line through Testament that marks her as a Deadeye is fading.
Mm.
So she's doing something to repair it.
Yeah, I think even more than that, it's having Ba'at Mishram restored is doing a lot. And I mean, before that, it was people individually doing things. Like, she had a personal connection with Testament, and as well as like Adolin had a personal relationship with Maya, and so like they were slowly fixing them up. But I feel like now that Ba'at Mishram is free, because the Deadeyes are going to be able to do a whole lot more.
Yeah, so the dam's kind of burst at this point.
Yeah,
there are so many interesting things, because like, Ba'at Mishram's back. Don't know what that's gonna do.
Yeah.
The Night Watcher's just still out there somewhere.
Just
Cultivation is no longer based on this planet, but she's still out there. And I kind of doubt she's just going to ignore the planet she invested so much of herself into.
Yeah, but I don't know who she's going to be able to get to help her. Is the hard part, because
I was going to say, sorry, finish your thought.
And I mean, it's just so many of the shards have been like non-interventionists, but like now it's kind of a matter of everybody's eyes got turned to Odium, Retribution now, and so she's going to have a much better case, I guess, for like being like, did you see what he did? And people going, ooh, yeah.
Well, but you know what? Like, to criticize her a bit, she was pretty nonchalant about it too. Oh, I'm going to make these plans, and I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to manipulate it, and then I'm going to get my guy in there, and I'm going to be able to guide him in the direction I want. And it's like, no, you got cocky. You got cocky, kid.
Yeah, she got cocky about it, and it bit her.
Now she acknowledges this is a risk, but that was one heck of a risk to take.
Yeah.
Race was not very good at this.
And that's why it was able to go as long as it did without more problems. And now you have a very capable, crazy person in there.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe the most capable, one of the scariest. Like I said, for like the first couple books, like he's the most interesting man on Roshar. Now that's not true anymore because he left, because he's got to hide for a bit.
No, and I ended up talking randomly to Josh about like the different enemies, and stuff, and the antagonists in Wind and Truth, and I think Taravangian, as much as he bugs me, he's competent, and so I'm like, okay, I can be okay with that. And now he's a shard, so yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with. But like, I think it's contrasting him with Moash is part of why I get so frustrated with Moash, is because he feels like such a small little irritant that should be able to be dealt with by now, but he's just not going away, and I want him to be dealt with.
He's the pebble stuck in your shoe.
Yeah, and my secret hope is that Kaladin comes back as a herald and just punts him, just like, no, I'm done. Everybody's done with you. I don't know that it's going to work out that way, but that's like my dream right there.
He's the cough.
Oh, won't go away.
It won't go away. No, I don't want to think about him.
No, I think he's being saved for Gavinor. I think Gavinor's gonna. I think we're getting Gavinor the revenge tour.
I could see that too. That could be satisfying too. But part of me would enjoy seeing like Kaladin and Moash be like, oh yeah, and then Kaladin's like, yeah, we're not dealing with you anymore.
I've been training with Taln
for a while. I'm a herald. No. You don't get to mess with this anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway,
when you've over leveled for the starting area.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one more question I want to throw out. So
yeah,
if the kid's a boy or a girl, what do we think Shallan names it? Because I think if it's a boy, she names it after her older brother.
Oh, Halarian would be cute. I have no idea for names. Like I would need to sit down and think and analyze like what she would name it. Plus, I feel like she would want Adolin's input in it, and she would potentially have a way to communicate with him with the Seon. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, did you guys, on a side note, did you guys see all the people theorizing that Yasna was pregnant too?
I did not. I don't see any evidence of it, but
there were people who were so sure, and they're like, oh, they're both pregnant. And I'm like, there is one scene where Yasna like puts her hand on her stomach, but it is obviously a stressful situation, and she's like distraught. She's not doing the same kind of movement that Shallan is doing. That's just like which is,
yeah, I'm not convinced.
Yeah, so like I don't think Yas is pregnant either, because we don't need to see what happens when there's a Hoyt baby running around. That's just gonna be weird. Yeah,
it'd be Mistborn.
A Hoydling.
Oh my goodness.
It potentially would be a Mistborn baby.
It could be. Maybe that's the the antagonist in Mistborn 3. There we go. Era 3. Because they do
Dang, that's actually a really cool idea.
Dang it.
Dang, that's actually really cool.
Oh, is Hoyd still there though in Era 3? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know where he goes. Yeah. Oh man. Oh. Anyway,
Amy, I think you just stumbled upon a really cool idea.
Oh man, the Hoydling Mistborn. There we go. It's a serial killer. Yay!
There's an episode title. It's a serial killer. Yay!
Yay! I'm glad to provide.
We're gonna get taken down.
And we're only doing one these every once in a while going forward. We'll be fine.
I was gonna say we're gonna get demonetized, but we never got monetized. So
I mean, we're kind of monetized a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we should probably start wrapping up.
True.
Any final thoughts? Not the final thoughts, but anything we should talk about before we do that?
I'm happy for all the Rlain and Renari shippers because they got what they wanted. They got it on screen. So
now Amy just has made me want this, and so if I don't get it, I'll be in. I don't know when we would potentially get Era 3 in 5-7 years.
And you're like, man, it's not Hoyt's kid. What? You're holding out on
Amy
me.
promised me.
It was a promise.
No, I hate it when we get those unfounded expectations. All right. Well, to our listeners, we love hearing from you. Even though we are pulling back on the podcast, we are going to continue to check our email accounts. So please write in. You can ask us about the Cosmere. You can drop us your latest theories. While you're at it, we'd love to hear your feedback on how you think we've been doing over the past 7 years. You can send all your questions and suggestions to cosmerestudies@gmail.com. We would absolutely love to hear from you. Seriously, y'all are amazing. We do have our own personal projects that we work on outside of the podcast. So, Amy, why don't you let us know what you've got going on?
Okay. My Facebook is Coincidence Cosplay and Props. My Twitter is @CoincidenceCosp because my name is too long, but I never post on there. My Instagram is @coincidence_cosplay. My TikTok is @coincidencecosplay, all one word. And then my website is www.coincidencecosplay.com. I also have the TikTok channel, which is Cosmere Studies. I'm going to change it probably in the next week or two to Coincidence Cosmere.
Because that's an awesome name.
So yeah, and thank you, Bill. So that's going to be changed to that. The other, the Instagram, the Facebook, and the Twitter for the rest of the podcast is going to stay as Cosmere Studies, but just the TikTok is going to change.
Because Amy's basically built that thing from the ground up, and it's just
so it's my other
plus once Bill
baby
proposed the clever name, how could we not?
But yeah. Okay, Jordan, how about you? What do you got going on?
Twitch.tv/SpliceStream is where I am currently streaming every Saturday. We just did another episode of Quizzard, and I'm going to be starting a new channel called Trivial Video Gaming. If you want to follow it over on YouTube, look it up. I need to get to 50 subscribers before I can stream on there anyway. So if you could help me out there, that'd be great. It's literally just going to be dumb, trivial video game stuff and video game show stuff. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, or you just want to help me out because you're just, really swell, do that.
Cool. And as for myself, I'll talk about another show that Jordan's got going on. It's called I Think We Overleveled. It's one that I actually take part in fairly regularly. Basically just a bunch of middle-aged nerds talking about gaming in the good old days, and this is sort of geeking out about stuff that we love.
This week will be our 50th episode.
Nice. Our most recent couple of episodes, a few weeks ago, we did motion controls, and apparently what that actually means, because it developed into our most.
It didn't develop; it exploded right off the bat, and I loved it.
It's because you were wrong.
It's because of Commie-Zite.
And so
the best thing was Bill wasn't planning on being on the episode, but then he left a comment in there, and I realized, wait, I think if I just keep egging this on, I could get him to show up.
As soon as I commented, I was like, I'm probably going to end up going on because, yeah.
He knew that I knew that he knew that I knew.
And then our most recent episode from last week was glitches in games.
That was a fun one.
That was a fun one. All right. Well, for those of you who want to support the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies, we would still love it if you'd let your friends know about the show. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, like and subscribe over on youtube.com/Cosmere Studies. That way, when we do put out new episodes, you'll still get notified and know that they're coming. And if you want to toss us a good review wherever you listen to us, we'd appreciate that. Commenting in the comments section of the YouTube video, that we'd appreciate that. Just anything you can do to spread the word, build the engagement, etc. We'd love it. All right, final thoughts.
Mistborn Kalin for the win.
Shallan just totally did girl boss at the end of this book. The whole book, she was girl boss the whole time. It was great.
No, very interesting. Like it was interesting just sort of watching these events from the multiple perspectives, because we've already talked about Dalinar and Navani, and now we're kind of talking about the people who were hiding in the background and talking about sort of what they're seeing, and this whole other story that's going on in the background. Like Jordan, I know you've seen this on the show Community. There's an episode where Abed has his whole storyline in the background of the scenes if you pay attention. And it's just this whole story that just happens. And if you don't know to look for it, you could easily miss it. But it's always interesting to see, there's a big plot that's happening right here that I didn't even realize was there. And Dalinar and Navani have no idea this is going on.
Yeah.
So
they are surprised. They're very busy when they're.
Yeah, there are other.
Everyone's dealing with a lot of stuff this book.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, in addition to the live episodes of the show that stream on youtube.com/Cosmere Studies every 2 weeks, well, for the next 2 weeks, on Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, listeners can find videos on YouTube or audio versions of the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and just about any other service that carries podcasts by searching for Cosmere Studies. I'm going to need to tweak that outro before our next episode. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook under the profile at Cosmere Studies. For our last episode before our break, we are going to be finishing up our deep dive into the various plots over the course of Wind and Truth. We'll be finishing up with Adolin and his crew in Aesir. So make sure to join us in chat for the live discussion on Monday, March 24th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern at www.youtube.com/Cosmere Studies. Until then, on behalf of Amy, Jordan, and myself, thanks for listening. And remember, there's always
another secret.
I forgot to mention, I'm working on my Mando. That's what I'm working on. So
very nice.
I have the chest piece and the back piece to finish printing, and they're the really big, nasty ones to print. So other than that, I have all the other armor printed. So that's cool.
Okay. Once this is uploaded, I need to go. I've got.
Yeah. Before you guys go, I want to tell you about the importance of quality control.
Yes.
So, in baseball, my favorite team are the Texas Rangers. Their logo's a big old T. Well, MLB just released a series of hats that they made for all the teams, where they have the logo of the team and then they have like the city underneath it so that they overlap. So it says Texas, but the issue is our logo is a T. And so essentially with that logo, it replaces the X with a T, and it spells the word tetas, which is Spanish slang for a woman's up tops. And they didn't catch this till they released it. And you're just like, this is why you have quality control, people.
You put other people's eyes on it. You run that word.
You need a 16-year-old advisor who is immature and will giggle when they see something. That's the importance here.
Immature enough to giggle, but not immature enough to try and let it get through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you go with a 16-year-old and not a 12-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's just something that happened. And I thought that'd be amusing. Chat, we'll head out. They need to sleep.
All right.